about the midterm are as follows. It's 40 questions. Yours is obviously Monday. It is 40 questions. Of those 40 questions, it starts calc and ends non-calc, just like our normal test. But in the beginning, there are 4 short answer calculator questions, meaning this is like what is your regression model? What happens at this input? What happens at that output? That kind of stuff, okay? And then it ends back in short answer again, and it is your non-calculator portion. So you'll see that I feel like I didn't try to kill you on it. Your midterm packet is the review packet is going to cover all of the content you need in order to be successful. Between now, I would say start to work on it tonight. Tomorrow you'll get to work on it in class. On Friday, I don't see you again, obviously, until Monday. So on Friday is what questions do you have on your packet time? It is not work on the packet time. You want to be done with the packet by Friday at the start of class. I'll go over any questions that you have. I do have some extra review that you can do in class, and then I also have some extra review that you can do over the weekend, okay? But this is like the logistics of it. Ladies, shh. You'll see on your midterm review packet the regression, like when you. All right, so if you want to write next to it, again, I'm going to go through the sections that these are covered. So it starts with synthetic and long divisions. That was from 1.8 and 1.9. Number 2 is average rate of change. We've done it several times, but this is based on an interval from data. That was in 1.2. Concave up and concave down was introduced in 1.1. That's number 4. Remember, concave up is the rate of change increasing. Concave down is the rate of change decreasing. And then number 5 is your geometric sequence, and that was in 2.1. I know it doesn't feel good to be taking a midterm, but I will tell you that I feel like this is a huge advantage because you are forcing yourself to review Unit 1 and Unit 2. It will help you in the long run. Yeah. In total, 1. So Unit 3 is all we've got left. We'll do that. 15. Yeah, so it will take all of third quarter. Yep. All right, 6 is your arithmetic sequence. That was in 2.1. 7 includes wholes, asymptotes, domain, and zeros, and that literally went from 1.7 to 1.10. This will be a big chunk. Like on the AP, they love the asymptotes. They love asking about the asymptotes. They love asking about the wholes. So a review of this content is super important. Number 8 is 1.11. That's your binomial expansion, finding one specific term. Numbers 9 and 10, concave up and decreasing or increasing or concave down. This is based on your exponential functions. That came from 2.3.
You said, what was 8? 1.11?
8 is 1.11, yep. And that's when you did the Pascal's triangle and you did the expansion. Yep.
Do we use our calculator for the whole review?
No, so if it's highlighted in teal when I get to it, when it's highlighted in teal, that would be it. That would be on your calculator part. We haven't hit it yet. All right, 11 was your piecewise function, and that's 114. 12 was domain and range based on transformations. 12 and 13, and that's from 112. 14 is even odd. That's from 1.5. Even is if I plug in the negative and it goes away. Odd is if I plug in the negative and it changes every term, because even is symmetric to the y-axis and odd is symmetric to the origin. And notice this is end behavior based on limit notation. So this could be a multiple choice question or an open-ended one in which you have to fill in the end behavior based on what's the highest exponent, is it even or odd, and then what's the power on the front, is it positive or negative. So this is where you're doing like a x to the n. If n is even and it's positive, they both point up, so they would both go to positive infinity. If it's negative, then they both point down. So think a parabola, both arrows point up or both arrows point down. And then if n is odd, positive, it rises to the right and falls to the left. Negative, it's reversed. Rises to the left, falls to the right. So that kind of question is going to give you it in limit notation though. So the limit as my x goes to positive infinity, the limit as my x goes to negative infinity. 15 is your inverse, okay, which 210, we kind of just finished that. That was on this last test. 16 and 17, those are the ones that highlighted in teal or green. These are calculator. So this would be on the calculator portion of your test. And this is your regression. So you're going to have to look at your R-squareds, figure out the best model, and then use the model to either predict something, use the model to find out when something would happen, and compare the predicted to the actual one. So this is like it's an overestimate or it's an underestimate. That would be part of these. And again, notice that now it could include your regression, could be linear, quadratic, cubic, exponential, or log. So those are both from 2-7 area, and you need to know how to do those, and you'll have your calculator. 18 is back to even and odd. That's 1, 5. $19 or 20 are also calculator portions simply just because the type of answer it will be, like 19 would be a decimal. Same thing with 20. 19 is from 1, 3, it's your rate of change. And 20 is from 1, 14. Inversely or directly proportional is in that section. 21, we're back to non-calc. So 21 is from 2, 6. That's your appropriate model or not. Remember, you're looking for a pattern. Pattern means not appropriate. Non-pattern means appropriate. 1, 6. Now we're talking the behavior of the input values. Are they increasing or decreasing? So you're looking for like what type of model that is. And 23, we're doing logs. So you're in 2.12. This also should feel recent, expanding and condensing. 24 would be determining which the exponential models that would be based on the graph of it. So you're talking about transformations really here, a shift up, down, right, left, flip over the x-axis, over the y-axis, that kind of thing. That's from 2.4. And then the graphs of logs, and that's from 2.11. So same as modeled here, you would have to find the domain, the range, the asymptote, the end behavior, and the graph of the log. It doesn't have to be perfect. It needs to be an estimate of what it is, but like the vertical asymptote should be in the right spot, and the overall shape and direction of your log should be correct. That was 2.11. 26 is the other multi-part type of question we're talking, and this goes back to Unit 1, 1.4. Concave up, concave down, increasing, decreasing, relative max, relative min, and point of inflection. 27 and 28 are exponential. We just finished those. That's 2.14. 29, you're back to non-calculator. That's 2.9. 30, 2.9. 31 could be calculator based again because you could use the graph to determine that, and that's 2.14. So calculator on that page, 27, 28, and 31. And then our last page, calculator 32, 33, 34. Regression again, exponential. So 32 is 2.14, 33 is 2.14, 34 is 2.13. 35 is 2.4, 36 is 2.2, 37 is 2.14. So my advice for you this evening is to do at least some of these. Again, the goal would be to divide the work between this evening, tomorrow in class, and tomorrow night. There's 37 questions. If you did like a third, a third, a third, it would probably be good. Then you wouldn't be rushing at the end. And I want you to, like, if you get to a question and you have no idea how to do it, stop. Write yourself a note. Ask Ms. Crisweiser in class tomorrow. And then tomorrow we can go over those types of questions, or Friday we can go over those types of questions. I am not collecting this packet for a grade. This is for you to be successful on your midterm. Yeah.